All right, this is episode 74.
Damn, episode 74.
The Odd Pod.
What we talk about?
Anything. Oh, well, they say where we talk about
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Oh, okay,
but today, we're going to talk about something that might be triggering.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah. So if you got undealt with trauma.
Specifically from your dad.
Yeah, because that's what this episode's about. It's about trauma from fathers.
Yes.
And there's only two of us on this episode.
Yes.
It's going to be just like that. You know, just us going back and forth about... We're going to try and not make this all dark, right? We're going to try and talk about the possible... Maybe not go into too much detail. Whatever, it's all good. But, you know, talk about the trauma and then hopefully talk about how we dealt or are dealing with it.
Right.
Remember, we want to put on a happy note, not just be like, fuck my dad and I hate him.
Right, because then we wouldn't even be able to talk about it then. If we weren't okay with it.
Yeah, this would just be a hate podcast.
Right,
you know
we're like, I hate my dad podcast, which is not that, because we got love for our dads.
Yeah, we got love for our dads, bro. You know, you got, you know, it's hard to hate on a motherfucker, bro, who wasn't taught any better themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't expect a child who was never taught to say please and thank you and to you know, like, ask for things and not be mean, to walk in here and be nice, right? You know, like,
right.
I might be offended at first, then if you tell me, yo, this person has never been taught how to act, you know, around people, then okay. Just like our fathers, bro. Like, our fathers, most of them, they weren't taught how to act when you live with someone. They weren't taught how to act when you have a child. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, the sad thing is that the examples they had, or their own fathers, probably gave them trauma of their own, you know?
Sure.
So once again, you've got a cycle of dudes who didn't know about what they were doing, bro. You know, you got motherfuckers who got married and had kids and they have no idea what to do. But now they gotta provide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And at least they try to provide, because like my dad's dad, for instance, just dipped out.
Yeah.
When my dad was so my dad was the oldest of 3 kids. He had 2 younger sisters. And his dad just dipped out at one point. He was about 7. And that was back then when you could just disappear. There's no Facebook, there's no Twitter. You can't track a motherfucker. He just vanished.
Damn.
You know, to a whole nother town, probably just an hour away.
Casper.
You know what I'm saying? And made a whole new family and shit. And,
damn, he didn't even say, nah, I'm gonna cool down on making a family.
No, he left because of a woman. He met a woman and wanted her. And so, you know.
Okay.
And then they made a family. And so, you know, my dad had, of course, abandonment issues. Right? And then he started working really young in Mexico.
Yeah.
And then he also was like the man of the house, quote unquote. So he was the boss. He didn't let my grandma date. He didn't let his sisters date as long as he could avoid it. After a while, you know, they were old enough and he came over here. But he was very controlling of the women in his life. And when he came to the United States and hooked up with a Chicana, well, she's not that type of woman to be controlled like that, like an old school Mexican. So then you got drama and they're fighting and shit later on, which I had to say.
That's your great grandma? The Chicana or your grandma?
No, I'm talking about my mom now.
Oh!
Because, you know, so my dad was around Mexican women. He controlled it.
Yeah.
He comes to the United States and dates a Chicana, my mom, and she's not as controllable, so she fights back, so it gets even bigger. She doesn't just take the shit.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I see.
Which is, as a kid, I hated that,
yeah.
but as an adult, I understand it.
Matter of opinion, right? Points of view. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to criticize.
But they were both, I mean, they were the same age as I was when I had my kid. They were 18, 19.
Yeah, so.
And you're not mentally, at least not now. I think maybe like 100 years ago, people were more, because
you know,
life was harder.
You know, here's one thing I thought about too. Like, think about the stuff we've been exposed to, just have seen by the age of 18. That's a lot. Especially now, with technology. These kids have seen everything by damn near 15. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can...
So think about them. Think about our parents. They exactly, bro. There was no internet. There was no cell phone. There was no... You know, there wasn't no 24-hour news channels, you know, or even TV channels, you know what I'm saying? Like, they only got what was put in front of them, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, once again, I hate to sound like I'm being an asshole, but it's the truth. Like, they're basically like cavemen, and, you know, our kids, you know, next generation are the ones who are like, you know, really advanced, you know? Because Because, you know, even us, we're the ones who are just having to adjust to having constant information and data in our faces all the time, you know?
Yeah, because we were kids when it was new, right? We saw all.
Yeah. We saw the start of all the messengers. We saw the start of social media. You know what I'm saying? We saw the end. We saw the internet get fast. Remember?
Of normal socializing.
Yeah.
We saw the beginning and end of a lot of things in just a lot of 30-year-olds, these late 80s, early 90s babies. We're a different breed because of that.
Real shit. I was thinking about that just because, you know, where I work, we get a lot of younger new hires who are like 18, 19, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, like, you could tell that they've lived a whole different life. You know what I'm saying?
How's their work ethic?
Not very well.
And I was just talking to my mom about that. Like, the 20-year-olds that are teacher assistants at her school, they don't want to work. They're like, oh, I don't have to, that's not. But it's usually like, but there is like, you know, rarities.
Because this generation didn't have to work. Everything's right there at your hands. You know, we had to go out for something, fam. Like, look, these fools, even though they cost an arm and a leg, they'll still pay to get food delivered. Bro, back in the day, that was not an option unless it was a pizza, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's the only thing. Yeah. Maybe Chinese.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But even then, it's like, bro, let's go.
Let's go to the buffet.
It was fun to go to the spot. You know what I'm saying? Especially now, how you can't go. How a lot of people in a lot of states and countries can't go nowhere and do nothing. Yeah, bro, like for us, that, you know, thinking back, like, damn, we had it good. You know what I'm saying?
And that's weird because, so that time period where we grew up, it made a lot of us, and the younger generation, a lot of them are antisocial.
And you know also why they have no patience, because they're used to everything being so fast.
Yeah.
Like, say, on this phone, bro, they have app for literally everything. So they're watching TV, they're chatting, they're watching porn, they're shopping, they're checking they're checking their emails. And so if they get bored, they switch one into another. So that's why if they don't
imagine a kid born with that, and a lot of parents, I'm not saying most, a lot of parents
right now
just give their babies a tablet.
Yeah.
And from the time that they can hold that tablet to the time they can walk to the time they go to school, they're addicted to it.
See, here's the thing. I love that the younger generation is way more tech savvy. Because, you know, back then when I was a kid, I felt I was kind of a geek because I knew how to work computer system programs, right? But now, because a lot of them have been given tablets and phones since they were like little, man, these fools know way more.
It's true. It's like a pro and con. They're going to be very intelligent,
but they're going to be fucking lazy.
And they're not going to want to socialize.
No work ethic. Yeah, bro. Right. No work ethic. You know, and I get it. But, you know, they'll get it together because they're gonna. Because I've said this before about the generation, this new one. We're the generation that didn't give a fuck about anything. They're the generation that gives a fuck about everything, right? And if they just get some work ethic, you know, that's it. They'll fix it all. They'll fix it all because they're fucking geniuses. Each and every one of them. Like I said, all the information they've retained since kids, with all the information out there, like. Yeah, bro, they're all pretty damn smart. They're you know, a lot of them have a sense of humor where you can actually joke with them. You know, like a lot of kids who are like 10, bro, I can joke with them. I can, you know, them little
you can have conversations.
Yeah, the little subtle jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like they get
humor.
Yeah, they get it.
And I don't know if that's because of some TikTok shit sometimes, but they get humor.
They do.
Like there was a pre-K kid who got in trouble and he was sitting in the hallway and he asked me, he said, "Hey, will you adopt me?" And I was just laughing. I was like,
bro.
Nah, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, bro. It's like little stoners walking around, bro.
Yes.
You know, it's crazy because, like, and I've said this before. I think understanding memes takes a level of intelligence, right? Just like humor. So think about it. These kids are being funny to us, bro. They're 10 years old. We're 30, bro. They're smart as fuck. Even they don't know it. Because they don't know it because, once again, this is the sad part, too. They live in a generation where everyone is going to make it. There's no such thing as the dumb kid. There's no such thing as, oh yeah, you know, that kid has got held back two grades.
No, the dumb kid has mental issues and they get
now they're autistic.
Extra help.
The young kid is autistic. The young kid has dyslexia.
ADHD.
The young kid has ADHD. You know, instead of, bro, at the end of the day, everyone learns at a different pace. There's obvious cases of ADHD, of autism, but bro, just because you can't read as fast as the other kids, or just because you don't get it as fast as the other kids, or because you sometimes...
Or you're a little more active.
Yes, or
more energy.
Doesn't mean that you have something wrong with you. And that's the thing, like, they make you believe, these kids, that if you don't act like everybody else, something's wrong with you.
Exactly.
That's some bullshit.
Exactly.
That's some bullshit.
And I gotta school teachers on this sometimes at my job.
Yeah.
Like, okay, just because you're used to having all kids act the same, and you think that, but this kid, it's not like he's cussing or nothing, he's just a boy, he's just active. You just gotta put a little more attention to him. And instead, she's like, oh, maybe he should be with y'all. Maybe he should be in that class. Like, no, it's just different.
So we're saying this, trying to get you to understand children and generations, so that you can also, we have to learn to also understand adults like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Who are basically like children in certain ways. Because they don't have, they didn't have the internet and it's all new to them.
Yes.
So they're still stuck in that small sometimes.
So if you think about our fathers, because that's what the episode's about, they obviously did not have a very wide reach of like information, you know? Like I said, it was given to him. And my dad was born in Mexico. He came over here in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about, what's your dad's situation?
Born in Mexico, came over here in the 80s.
Exactly. Okay, so
he was like 19.
Okay, so they weren't educated here. Exactly. So they didn't have all that shit, all that what most people, bro, back it's common sense, right? But you know, it wasn't taught it because
because the relationship style in Mexico and America, Mexico didn't really catch up yet. Yeah. They weren't westernized and more equal like we were in the United States already.
They're still living what people say a traditional Hispanic household.
Right. The machismo bullshit.
Yes, basically call it that. The machismo bullshit.
Right.
And so yeah, you know, like, because you know, at first, obviously, when you're dealing with this trauma, you have to you can't just stay mad, right? That's obviously one thing you realize. I can't just stay mad at my father forever, right? I have to find. So
because our dads held on to that anger.
Exactly, they made them angry. That's what we don't want to be angry adults. We want to be adults who have dealt with our shit, so that we can be awesome adults. You know what I'm saying? So what eventually I'm gonna give you the shortcut to figuring it out. You have to dissect the personality of the person who traumatized you. You have to try to find a way to figure out what is the root cause of why they would act like this. You know what I'm saying? You can't don't just put it off to they're an asshole. Don't put it off to I'm not worth anything. Fuck that. Okay? No.
Right. It's not personal.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's not. Once again, all that we said is basically how we've been able to find a way to excuse our fathers. You know, we try to understand personalities, how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do. And when you do it from a neutral perspective, not an angry perspective, not a perspective that wants to be right or talk shit, but it's a perspective that wants to figure it out, you realize that, yeah, bro, like, they're just, no one ever came across to them and said, yo, you should treat women better, fam. You should nurture a woman. You should try to build her up. You should try to not be the leader. You want to be a guide, and then eventually you want her next to you. You know, both of you are gonna lead. You know,
right.
King and a queen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't have that. They didn't have no one telling them when you have kids. Be careful what you do in front of them because it will affect the kids, even from the time that they're babies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everything you say, everything you do to these kids is gonna affect them in a big way. And you have to also remember this. You are literally a giant to these children, okay? When you get angry at them, when you threaten to hit them.
Oh, you're a god.
Yes.
Lowercase g, but you're a fucking giant, yeah.
Basically, bro. You know what I'm saying? You really are messing with these kids' psyche in a horrible way.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that probably some motherfuckers now don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It's the cycle continues. And there's a lot of kids, like especially in inner cities and shit that I work with, that you can tell they don't get that much love at home. You know, which is sad. But yeah. I was gonna say one story about my dad. That one time that I remember.
Go ahead, say it.
And it's kind of weird and funny, but I got a haircut at Supercuts, right? And I guess it was a way that he wasn't like. I think I wanted to fade or something, so I got like this short haircut. But the dude who cut it left like hair, like right here.
Oh God.
Right, a little bit, and so my dad proceeded to take out a notebook. I don't know where he got the notebook. I think he used my notebook from school, and he drew a picture of me, and then drew these long ass hairs, and said, "Look, this is how the fuck you look, cause they didn't put your hair right."
Bro, that's just like, bullying you. That's,
what the fuck? It's totally bullying.
And my dad was the same way. My dad would do things that to him were hilarious,
right.
But you're bullying a little child.
I would never think to do that to my son.
Yeah, look how stupid. Look,
you look like a fucking idiot because this grown ass man who you have no control over.
Like you staring at him, drawing like and then you turn around. Hey, look how stupid you look.
A fucking character.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Wow. That's fucking horrible. Oh god.
And I never forgot that.
I feel
And I
you.
know it wasn't like Maleficent that he did it, but it sticks.
See,
with you.
and that's the thing. My mom made me hit this realization, and it's even more frustrating. They probably legit don't think that this was all that mean. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They brought it like,
It's
what?
nothing,
You being dramatic. What? You know, you kind of sensitive. You
I
know.
don't even remember saying.
You know, come on, dog. You know, nah. You know, I don't think that was even me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, bro. Except when someone tells you that you've hurt them, that you've made them feel bad, you just need to accept that I made someone feel bad. I need
whether
to,
you intended or
Yes.
not, apologize.
The result is that you made someone feel
Right.
bad. Don't give me that. Why? I wasn't trying. No, bro. I don't care what you were trying to do. You ended up making someone feel bad. Apologize for it.
Right.
You were trying to make a milkshake and you spilled the milk on the floor. Don't be crying about it. Clean it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then and I couldn't say anything like, you can't, like, to somebody like my dad who doesn't have a dad, you can't say, well, how would you feel if your dad to you? He's like, well, I'll just be glad he was there.
You
Draw
know,
pictures
he
of me.
probably tell you know what my dad would do? Probably slap me. He'd probably say something to you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, my dad would whoop my ass.
Right.
You should be lucky you have me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
So did your dad have a dad? Or?
my dad had a dad, yes, but my dad's dad, my grandpa, was he wasn't faithful, and he was an alcoholic, and he used to hit my grandma. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was a not nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my dad actually got sent away from his home to an aunt's to live, like, and he was like probably, he said like 7 or 8. He was never told why. He was just sent one day to his aunt's and he told to stay there. And I'm pretty sure my dad was treated pretty shitty there by probably his cousins and shit, because the way he acts, this very alpha douchey predator way, right? I think it comes from having to be he was in an environment where he had to be that way.
Right.
You know.
Survive.
So, in a way, when I think about it, I pity him a little bit. I'm like, damn, but that must be shitty to be around people who are supposed to be your family, and they probably just make you feel like shit. They make you feel like you don't belong here. You know, like you're my family now. You make me feel like an outsider, and then you make fun of me, you bully me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can imagine that in him was like, no one's ever, you harden yourself to the point where I'm never gonna get hurt by anybody. I'm gonna be the one who's always got the insult. I'm gonna be the one who's gonna always, let people know, don't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It does that to people, bro. But what I would say to that is, okay, I get it that if you needed to act like that, if you needed that armor in your teens and your 20s and maybe even your 30s, but don't be sitting here telling me that now that you've made a life and you're old and you're chilling now, that you still need to be a douchebag like that.
Right.
Remember, this armor that you put on, that you put on to defend yourself, you no longer need it, but you still been wielding it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You can take it off.
Yeah,
Relax.
bro. It's not battle. It's peacetime. You know,
Right.
the battle's done past.
And see, the good thing, like in those situations. So if you're ever in a confrontal situation and this with strangers or something, you can you got that armor that you can throw back on again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like me, it's not a pro, but just a simple fact that because of the trauma I went through, see my parents fighting, thinking, oh, like the worst that could happen, my dad could kill my mom in an accident or something. Now, high intense situations, like working at a school and there's like 800 kids and people are like looking for kids and shit, I can control myself because it's almost like somebody who's been to war and then they can come back and then you can handle anything.
Yeah, nothing phases them.
Right.
You know, like there are dudes who've gone to war and they cage fight and they say, yeah, I feel no pressure being in there in a cage locked with some guy who wants to take my head off. Dude, I've been in war.
Right, people have been trying to kill me already. I've been through the trauma.
Yeah,
I've felt this before.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, I feel you. Let me see, one thing I was gonna say. Fuck, keep talking.
So another time that my dad bullied me, so they say that boys, boys that pee the bed, that have trouble peeing not peeing the bed, which I had trouble with until I was like about 7. It's because of trauma, right? Boys who have trauma, they piss the bed. So instead of like helping that, well, I don't know if the research was out back then.
What?
The research of I don't know if people knew, if the public knew that boys would piss their bed late into their like 7, 8, 9, 10.
It happens.
Because
there's a reason.
Because of trauma.
Oh.
A lot of times, boys pee in their bed because of trauma. So, what my dad decided to do was like, he was frustrated, right? Because I kept pissing in the bed. But they didn't realize it because they were fighting all the time and all the trauma. So he got me some adult diapers. and in front of my mom, my sister. I feel like there's other people there. He's like, yo, I got you these diapers, and you're gonna have to wear these if you keep pissing the bed. You're gonna wear them to school and all that shit. And I was like, what the fuck?
So yeah, that's really horrible.
I'm like, what the fuck?
There's a child here.
I'm not controlling this. It's not my fault.
Yeah, there's a child here who clearly has this bladder issue is probably caused by something mental.
But they don't see that. They don't think that.
Yeah.
They didn't have any idea of this mental.
Your dad is only like
health.
making the trauma like worse.
Yeah, that is yeah.
Wow.
Instead of like easing it off, I just let me times it 2.
So now I'm just gonna be afraid to pee because I'll be afraid that I have to wear a diaper in public. Like, wow, thanks for that too. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe it worked because I don't remember peeing after that. I don't know.
Jeez,
or if I did, I just kept it a fucking secret.
Damn. Like one thing, I remember, my stuff, my memories aren't so traumatic and stuff, but I remember this. I used to be one of those kids who had a towel with them all the time, like a little towel. I guess it was for like secure purposes, right? Whatever. But I would always carry it around with me, a blanket, a little towel and whatnot. And like even to like the time I was like 5 or 6, I would not let it go. My mom and my aunts, they try hard. They would try to tell me you don't need it, and I'll take it. And one time, I remember me and my dad were at Kmart, and he goes, if you leave that towel right here, right now, I'll buy you this toy. And at that time, it was a toy from this cartoon I like called the Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah, shout out.
It was the dark mouse with the motorcycle. So it was like the look. It wasn't just the guy. It was the motorcycle too. Shit, yeah. Bro, literally it took me 5 seconds. I dropped the towel and said, "Let's go." See, like how you say, see, my dad. That's how that was his way of doing. Was like, this kid needs to leave that damn towel. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, see. He could have been worse. He could have like threatened me like your dad did, right? But I guess bribing me was enough. Maybe your dad should try to bribe you instead. Like, if you don't wet the bed for 1 whole week, I'll give you $20.
Right.
I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm really not gonna piss the bed. I'm gonna work hard. Like instead of, oh my god, I'm gonna piss the bed. I'm gonna, oh my god, bro, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
This is like some Bobby Lee shit.
Let me give some good things though. Like when my parents were separated and he would have us on the weekends, he would take us to like a Discovery Zone, which was. Did you ever
Shout
go
out to Discovery Zone? That's my favorite thing ever.
It was like an indoor for people who haven't been there. It was like an indoor fucking.
They don't even have anything.
Ninja Warrior type.
Yeah.
Fun really shit for kids. It was amazing. Yeah. He would take us there. He would always take us places on the weekends, and I think for him maybe that was easier because then he would have his girlfriend, and then he could see us on the weekends and whatever. But and then him and my mom would still get into it and shit. But you could tell that he was trying sometimes. He was trying, but he had to have no blueprint.
Yeah, like when my dad did finally, like when they separated, my mom and him, it was probably about 3, maybe 4, somewhere in between. It's blacked out from my mind. I know it is, because I don't remember anything. I remember a lot from my childhood. No, I don't. I feel like that's a room that I've locked somehow, right?
You blocked it.
But I have, whenever I see someone walking out, like, for example, when my wife walks out of the room, I don't know, I get a trigger, I'm supposed to be afraid she's coming back. That's the first thing I ask myself, so I'm like, see, that probably tells me I have some kind of trauma from my dad leaving, right. I probably saw him leave, that was the last time I probably saw him, maybe he kissed me good night in my bed, or told me bye, and that was that, right?
You didn't see him for a while, you're like, damn.
Again, that probably has a lot to do with how I get, but, after that, he still, my dad still wanted to just be Mr. Playboy, I guess. He wanted to have, be around, get female attention and stuff. Because there were times when, he would tell my mom, I'm gonna go pick him up. My mom would get me showered and dolled up and whatnot, and then he would cancel last minute. Or just plain just leave me, just ditch me, right? You know what I'm saying? And it was probably to be with a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
See, I will give my dad this, and I think I would have rather just been ditched. He would take me with those bitches.
And he would
So there was this one time that I hated Braveheart, that movie, for so long. Because there was one night where my mom and my sister went out of town to St. Louis, and he had his girlfriend over. And they watched Braveheart, and I was in the kitchen, right? And they were in the living room, and I was playing Scrabble by myself. And I kept hearing them kiss, right? And I would be like, I would get, make a noise, like, I'm upset. And then he got mad. And we're like, what the fuck you doing?
He's got his bone. He's only thinking about his boner right now. He's like, man, I'm trying to get.
You little cock block, shut the fuck up and play Scrabble by yourself. And it's like,
Jeez.
I hate you and I hate Mel Gibson now for some reason. I have no reason why. No.
Hey, Mel's a real one.
But Mel's a real one.
Yeah,
and now I kind of want to go back and watch Braveheart, but maybe I still won't watch Braveheart.
Isn't it crazy how like all that shit he said that everyone called him crazy for, like all turned out to be true? You know what I'm saying? I believe that phone call with that Russian chick was all fake. You know, they stopped.
Oh, they had the tape.
They had to shut him down somehow, bro. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure right now he's Mr. Like, he's just sitting there like, yep, I told y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all called me a dumbass. Y'all tried to get me completely canceled, and look at all that's coming out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, 'cause that shit he said, you wouldn't have believed it. You know, if someone told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyhow, but yeah, maybe you're right. Because sometimes, bro, not sometimes, but I've come to that conclusion that all the times that I said I miss my dad in my life, maybe it was actually better off not having him around. Because had I had him around, I might have just had, like, it would have just been even more traumatic moments. You know what I'm saying? At least I could say that, well, when I go home to my mom, I go to my mom and this is over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I knew my mom would, like, my mom obviously was more dominant because she just is. My mom is not a woman to be toyed with. What I saw growing up, and here's where my dad might give props, because I did say that my grandpa, my dad's father, was physically abusive to his wife. My dad was like the opposite. He would always end up running from my mom. When my mom got mad, yo, get the fuck out of the way. This woman's 4'11", you know, ain't no, you know, probably maybe less than 120 pounds, but bro, you know, the fury, you know what I'm saying?
Was she chasing with weapons and shit,
yeah,
like knives?
Bro, yes, there's a story. Okay, here's two occasions I remember. Well, not remember, I've told this, right? But I do remember, I remember one time specifically where, like, they started arguing, and my dad was obviously doing his thing where he's, like, backing up, and she's just yelling at him, and he's not answering. So my dad saw that I was looking, and he took me to Toys R Us, had me pick anything out, let me get that, and then went back, put me in my room, and just went back to getting yelled at by my mom. You know what I'm saying? He probably knew he fucked up or something. I'm not, you know, I give him some...
Like, do you know what the fight was about?
Nah, because if I asked my mom, she's gonna... She's like, which of the thousands of times that I yelled at that motherfucker, right? But see, so in a way, you give him props at the same time, like, bro, part of the reason why you had to go do that is because you fucked up in the first place, right? So... Here's two times I remember. My dad had fucked up. My mom had found, I think she heard a phone call or something, and she did get a knife, and she chased this fool into the bathroom. He locked himself in the bathroom for like a good while. He did not want to come out.
Did she?
I don't know.
Here's Johnny.
She probably would have, bro. She was damn near there. You know what I'm saying? And I remember another time too that well, who knows what he did, but my mom grabbed the TV and threw it at his fish tank. Like, threw that and it broke the fish tank. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My mom will tell you all this with a smile on her face, man. Like, yeah, I did that. Yep. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And then one time we were like, yeah, he said you threw a TV at him. No, it wasn't him. It was at his fish bowl. That's what she said. She was like, I threw it at his fish bowl.
If I wanted to throw it at him, I would have thrown it at him.
Yeah. So I was lucky that even though my dad probably could have, like, tried to hit back, I don't know who would ended well. My mom might have whooped his ass anyway. Yeah. But at least I didn't see that. I didn't see my dad trying to beat up my mom, you know. Right. What I saw was my mom always, you know, checking my dad and putting him, like, scaring the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yes.
That's cool.
So in a way, like I said, he has done some not good. But there is
there's little shining moments.
Yes.
That you're like, okay, he's not an evil person.
There's a
he's
silver,
just misguided.
There is a silver lining to the whole thing. You're not an evil person. You're just a dumb motherfucker.
Right. They just didn't get their childhood the way they should.
Yeah. That's sad. You know what I'm saying?
When they take away the childhood, then you end up taking away childhood.
Very true.
Yeah. We getting.
So how do we? So you want to talk about how we dealt with this? You know, we just gonna talk about.
So how did I deal with it?
At what age? Okay, let me ask you this: did you carry hate? Well, here I'll tell you my story.
Okay.
I did carry hate in my heart from my father for many years. Probably, damn near a decade, right? So at first I hated my dad because he cheated on my mom, right? But then I started to hate him because no, you know what? You were never there for me. You know what I'm saying? Blah blah blah. You know. But then as I got older, I realized that being mad at that is almost like belittling my mother, right? My mother was doing two people's jobs. She was being a mom and a dad, you know what I'm saying? She was working. She was taking care of her son, trying to make ends meet at the same time. And I don't ever want to do anything or say anything to insinuate that she never did enough, or that I lacked anything, because I never lacked a damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Amen, man.
And so as I got older, a lot of that hate did start to diminish, because it was like you realize that a lot of that is just kind of like, I guess you could call it teenage angst, right? You look for a reason to be
right,
to have some depression, to have some emotion, right?
Well, and then if you don't have a dad, those teenage years are vital to have a real male role model.
Yes.
And if we didn't really, that's why I think on accident, I don't know if you did, I did. I took shit out on my mom without even realizing.
Probably, yeah.
You know, and it's just because I didn't have a man there saying, "Hey, shut the fuck up and respect your mom." Or not even like that, but just showing me an example, because my dad didn't.
Or
have
real
a good
talk,
example.
no one would tell us, "Hey, shut the fuck out with your mom, or I'm gonna check you," right? We didn't have that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
Yeah, I feel you. It is important. You respect does kind of sometimes needs to be repeated to you over and over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, we learned. But I started dealing with it, and I started trying to realize, like, whoa, okay. Do you think your dad's really a bad person? Well, like, analyze this shit. You go at it from a psychoanalytical perspective.
You kind of got to take yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And just look at him.
You have to try and be neutral. Try and those feel like we're in a courtroom, and you're here trying to figure out if your dad's an evil man or not. You have to be able to be neutral. You know what I'm saying? Just be able to say, okay, well, this is what happened, and this is probably the result of it, and this is, instead of just saying, yeah, he didn't pick me up because he's an asshole, he's a piece of shit. No, he didn't pick you up because his priorities are fucked up. His priorities were not taking care of my son and then going to see some bitches. No, his something weird.
I think it's this one. Look, okay. There's like a piece of extra.
Okay, yeah.
See that coming out of the incense?
Yeah, we thought something was burning. There's a fire alarm in here in the Odd Squad studios. So we don't want a fire alarm to go off, because the fire alarm here is hooked up to sprinklers. So if the fire alarm goes off, all the sprinklers are gonna go off, and that's all of everything.
Holy shit!
The studio's gonna flood.
Oh
yeah.
Shit!
Studio's gonna flood, fam. That TV, that bookshelf. Everything flooded. Damn it, right? That's okay. So
I took that little piece off.
All right, cool. My lungs are just burning. But you have to look at it from a psychoanalytical perspective, and you have to be able to say, like I said, that my dad was not an evil guy because he preferred to go and get some pussy instead of seeing his son, right? Like, he was just a misguided 20-something-year-old. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no one to tell him, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You need to go and see your son. Because he was away from his family. And that's one thing, too, that I think does people wrong. When you go too far from your family. Because your family will check you, bro. Your family will tell you
if you got a good family.
If you're fucking up. Like, if you had a wife or a girlfriend, and your sister sees that you're not treating her right, she's gonna check. She's gonna tell you what the fuck's wrong with you, exactly. But if you live a whole country away and there's no one around, you're the only one telling yourself what to do. You don't think you're in the right.
Right.
So that was my dad probably. My dad didn't have his mom around here, his sisters, no one telling him, yo, bro, you need to go be with your son. You chasing that pussy is not what you. That's what got you in trouble in the first place, motherfucker. You could have built a beautiful relationship with that wife that you had and that beautiful child that you made, but you decided that you still want to be young and pretty. You know what I'm saying?
And if somebody would have just told him, yo, pussy come and go, pussy's always there.
Yeah, bro, real talk.
This time with your son is so important. Later on, when you get older, you'll still have a dick. It'll probably still work. Yeah. You can still fuck. Yeah. Older men always fuck every chick. Just wait. Yeah. Sometimes waiting makes it even better, man. But you gotta, once you put a kid in the world, that's your priority.
It really should be, bro. That's your life.
That should be, man. But a lot of people don't think like that.
They don't think that,
and
bro. Yeah. But yeah, I had to start looking at it like, okay, so all the times that my dad was being an asshole or quote unquote a bully to me, it's not that he was trying to tease, he thought he was being funny, but he thought he was just being, he didn't understand that he's also being a bully, right? He didn't look at it as, I'm a grown ass man, a father, making fun of my son right now.
Right, this ain't your friend.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say that he's the reason why I had low self-esteem, but he sure didn't help it. When I was a teenager, I had no self-esteem. I hated myself. That's why I was fat. I didn't have any friends. I was a pretty lonely little dude back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I felt like a loser. And those feelings didn't help. And having a father who would just kind of talk shit to you, be an asshole, you know, didn't help either, you know. And so yeah, you know, like growing up, you do feel frustrated. You do kind of feel like, man, you should have helped me, but what the fuck was he gonna do? What the fuck is he gonna do?
He wasn't right himself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I can't go and ask the motherfucker who sits at home and eats like shit for fitness advice, right? So what am I gonna expect? What kind of advice am I gonna expect from the motherfucker who's done nothing but do the douchey thing his whole life? Exactly. Gonna get douchey advice. Might as well.
So did you have other father figures like that?
Yes, but they all failed me.
Yeah, because they weren't actually, because I had uncles and shit, but they all had their flaws. And
there
shit.
was very few dudes in my life I remember who like, who in my opinion, were good men. That's what I say, good men, right? Most dudes I met and that I grew up around, they had issues. They were womanizers, or they were alcoholics, or they had issues, bro. Like, they weren't right in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you realize that, you know, like, people like, one of the things that you realize, that guys are so controlled by, I learned around, they're so controlled by their dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I always hearing about so-and-so cheating on so-and-so? Why can't none of the men that are surrounded in my life stay faithful, you know? Maybe that's why I'm so dedicated to not being a hoe, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's hard than a motherfucker, right? I get temptation, Dad. You ain't never, and that's another reason why I don't cheat too, is because I don't ever want him to be able to look at me and say, haha, you too, right? Nah, bitch, I do want to be able to say that I was better than you, in a way. I know that sounds real douchey to say, but despite how you didn't do your job, I still turned out a better man than you. You know what I'm saying?
And he should be proud.
And it's sort of like, because they'll realize when they get older, maybe they're like, damn, yeah, he grew up into such a man, and I didn't do anything to help. I'm looking at this.
Well, hopefully, but then he might be like, oh, because I neglected him, now he's even
I know, right? See, they're thinking like that. Like, now you know what? My trauma helped you, bro.
Right.
Like,
bullying you made you fucking strong.
Get your old ass out of here. Jesus, bro. Bro, yeah, you'll never get the reply you want. So don't ever think that you going up
with your personal.
Yes. Don't ever think that you're gonna take your feelings and put them out on the table in front of your father. Bro, you're not gonna get that response you want ever. They're just gonna be like, oh, so I guess you it's all my fault, huh? Like, all of a sudden, like,
it's almost like, they'll flip it on you. It's almost like arguing with a kid.
Gaslight you, bro. They'll gaslight you. Hey, bro, I'm not mom, all right? You're not gonna do me like this. You know what I'm saying? Trying to brainwash you and manipulate you and shit. No.
That's what gaslighting is?
Yeah, gaslighting is constantly trying to convince people. Like, for example, it's raining outside, right? And you're like, it's raining. I'm like, how could you think that? What? So you look outside and you think it's raining? How do you know that someone just didn't dump a bucket of water outside the window? How do you know that someone didn't spray something here on? You know what I'm saying? Gaslighting. Always trying to just keep the lie going any way possible.
Wow.
In such a way where, like, you're almost overwhelmed by what you're being told, so you believe the lie. Bro, that's what the news is doing.
I've been seeing this word a lot.
Gaslighting. That's what the news is doing to the world. It repeats the same thing, the same lie over and over in such a way that, like, even though it's a lie, you bought into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like,
so like our dads were gaslighting us.
Yeah, gaslighting our mothers for the most
moms,
part. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. When I first got with my wife, and we were engaged for like a few years. I was not a very good dude, and I think it came from that.
Thank you for saying that, because it reminded me of what I was saying.
It came from not only not having someone there to ever check me or tell me how to treat women, right? But it also came from seeing a woman like my mom always just get things her way by just yelling and basically ranting, So I thought that was normal, So I turned into an asshole, bro. When I was engaged. Like, I guess you could say I was emotionally abusive, fam. I was gaslighting. I would try to convince Cynthia that, like, that I'm right no matter what, or that, like, you should do what I say no matter what. Like, yeah, bro, like, I was not a good dude. I was not a good dude. I was pretty evil, but some people could just say, well, you just didn't know any better. And, that's also true, but I don't like to give myself too many excuses, right? Like,
because in a way we kind of did know right from wrong.
Yeah.
But it was already kind of familiar, and we're like, probably subconsciously we were like, our dads did it. But my dad would say, how many girlfriends you got? So from the time, I was a little player all through school.
Yeah.
And then when I got with the girl that I really loved, with my first, I played her, but then I regretted playing her because then she played me. So that was my first time like, oh, okay. But then I didn't really learn.
Medicine.
Right. Oh, I forgot about that song. Classic. Shout out to SPM. Free SPM.
Nah, not really.
No.
If he did that, no.
I don't think he did though.
All right, well, free SPN and fuck it.
If he's free, I mean, if he's innocent.
If he's not a pedo, free
Right.
right?
And what was I saying?
After you got taken your medicine.
So when I was with the girl that I probably could have married, and I just say like my son's mom.
Your baby's mother.
Right. Like there was a point where I was like, before I really fell in love, and I was like, okay, now we have. Before I was ready to do it, she had been ready, but I was all fucking with different girls and shit. And then what happens is, then you lose your family, and you realize, oh fuck. And if that's not enough, you fuck a chick that's a stripper, and you get the clap, and you have burning piss, and you get the medicine and clean it out. But that's another thing God's saying. See, this is why you don't just.
This is all hypothetical, right?
Yes. All hypothetical.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. I think I've admitted that before. Like how I looked at Luciano, like the burning piss, bro, because it's curable.
No, but you fucked a stripper?
Yeah.
Dang. I mean.
She was really cool though.
I mean, darn.
Yeah.
Bad.
That was probably. I think that was my subconscious, like trying to sound cool, throw that in there.
You know what though? It's a good thing that you're learning this. You learned it when you were young, and not have to be 30.
It would be so hard to recover now, as a 30-year-old.
Pretty much is no recovery.
With a 13-year-old, yeah, like mistakes. When you get older, the mistakes are longer last. Just like if you get hurt, the injuries are longer lasting because we're older.
Yeah.
Those mistakes that it's like, oh, now I really got to deal with the consequences. You know what I'm saying? Like me spending money on something I didn't need. That's gonna it's like a domino effect that I'm gonna feel that for a couple months.
Well, now we look at the consequences of our actions.
Right.
Because that's one thing that the young people, and probably most young people, aren't able to do. Actually, a lot of adults don't know how to do either. Is to think of the consequences of your actions. Right? How will this affect me or other people down the line? And is it worth it? They just think about here and now. Right. You know what I'm saying?
At the elementary school I went to in Dallas, Ella Hotchkiss,
yeah.
They used to have signs everywhere that would say "Stop and think."
Yeah.
And I don't hear that anymore.
I know.
You know? Like,
isn't that weird though? Okay, so I stopped and think.
Like yeah, but that would explain like before you do something, like stop and think before.
Well, yeah, that's the best way to avoid making a mistake is to try to train you to assess what you're doing before you do.
Before you react.
Yeah.
Think about the reaction before you react.
Yeah, look before you leap. You know what I'm saying?
Because of all the things that could happen.
Yes.
Right, and it's not easy to do, but if you start telling kids young, kids are so malleable and formidable and so absorbent.
Yeah.
If you teach them the right things,
yeah,
I mean, it goes a long way.
Cause I was stupid, bro. Like when my fiance decided to, when she told me, she's like, yo, you know what? I had enough of this shit. I'm leaving. You know, you're definitely not being nice to me.
Right.
My dumb ass was like, what? You know, like it was out of the blue. Yeah, I didn't understand that you've been an asshole to her for the past 2-3 years, right. And now she's had enough of it, fam. And
right.
Yeah, so. I mean,
it was the natural progression of
yeah. But my dumb ass, you know, obviously was like, well, what the hell?
What was me?
Yeah, but it took me about 5 minutes. I'm not even lying. 5 minutes to sit there and realize like, oh yeah, this is all on me. You know, you lost her. She didn't leave you. You lost her, bro, because you had her.
Yeah.
You know, you had everything with her. She would have done anything for you, and you fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go on this long journey of like self-realization, self-reflection, and you come to realize, you know, later on that like a lot of that negativity that I put out comes from the negativity I hold inside for my father, for other people and events in life that are quote unquote traumatized me. So you got to deal with that shit, bro. And that's what this is why I tell people who are mothers who are gonna have kids. And I've seen this happen, so I'm not just talking shit. If a young mother who has a really weak personality and she's timid, and she is a person who's not sure of herself, and she makes a baby, that baby's gonna be just like that. I've seen this. I've seen this happen to where a few years later the woman gets a little older, and she got more self-esteem. She's more, you know, like more ready, so to speak, and she has a baby again. That baby comes out to be way more sharp, bro. You know, so I've seen it. I've seen that there's a correlation. So this is why you gotta deal with your traumas, bro, before you have kids, because you're gonna pass on all that negative that you hold. Some little pieces of that is gonna get passed on to your child, and so they're born with negativity they have nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? For all we know, a lot of the trauma we have, it might be trauma just left over from our parents. You know, so we're doing a lot of work. You know, you're welcome, mom and dad. You're welcome, grandma.
We're filtering out this shit.
You're welcome.
See, that's how you gotta.
But you see, what we're doing is awesome. Cause see, you can say you're welcome, mom and dad. You're welcome, grandma, grandpa. You're welcome, future granddaughter, grandchild. That you're welcome, son, daughter. Like you're helping generations. We're doing some awesome work, bro. We're healing whole generations here. You know what I'm saying? What we do here is gonna have a huge ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? Not just the past generations, but the future generations. And that's what it's about. It's about changing things up. You know, like stop making it normal to be emotionally abusive and accepting that. Stop allowing people to just be whores and accept that. You know what I'm saying?
And it's good now, and sometimes it gets taken extreme, but just like anything can. But it's good now that quote unquote toxic masculinity, where I'm sure there's subsets, right? So my subset is where men used to not be able to have any emotion.
There's still a lot of dudes like that.
There's
right?
still a lot of dudes, but it's kind of going away a little
struggling,
bit.
Yeah, they're struggling. You see those fools, like they try to walk around all tough, all alpha looking, but you can tell deep down inside they're a little kid. They're a little kid who's just trying to look tough in a world that they're scared of.
And I shout out to, there's this counseling page called Current Counseling. I think that's what it's called on Instagram. But there was something I read that said, it was talking about vulnerability, and how vulnerability isn't necessarily a weakness. It can be a strength. For instance, like going to work even when you don't feel like it or whatever.
No, you make sense.
You know, and so like this year I'm gonna try not to miss no days. I'm gonna see if I can do it, because I know how important I am there, and I not just for my work.
You gotta miss my birthday, motherfucker. You gotta miss 420.
Okay, see, that's why I want to have days for important days like that. Then I won't have to worry about, I'm not getting paid today. So yeah, I got you. Hell yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like like being able to, it's okay to cry.
Yes.
Men should be able to cry and not think, I'm a bitch.
Anybody should be able to cry. You gotta cry, bro.
Right. It's okay.
If you don't get these emotions out, they just stay inside all pent up, and then you become an emotional wreck.
Because imagine that energy and it goes somewhere. It has to come out somewhere.
Yes, and then you're gonna put out the wrong time. You might as well put it out when okay, I'm here by myself. I've got time. I can cry. I'm gonna be emotional right now. Rather than you're having a heated discussion with someone and you all of a sudden start getting all
an outburst.
all weepy, all emotional. Like, whoa, bro, I wasn't ready for this. Exactly, bro. You don't want to lay that emotion on the wrong person and look all weird, right? No one likes smoking with that motherfucker that's like, bro, I'm so depressed, bro. Life is so like, bro, get the fuck out of here and hit, you know what I'm saying? Or hit this blunt and just shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think, because just this week, like, I hit y'all up about that, and I had that moment where, like, so what happened was, and it's okay, I'm glad that it happened, whatever, but I have these new masks, right? It's called a Ghost Shield, right? And it's just like a little piece of plastic. I spent like $30 on them. I wore it, and it was cool. Nobody really said nothing. I got a couple of looks. Somebody asked about it, and because it's not a traditional thing, right? And it's clear, because I feel like it's so important for kids to see a smile. Like think if you're a little kid, right? And you go and you can't see nobody's faces. I mean, it's kind of creepy.
I was talking to my wife about this the other day. A lot of these kids are growing up in an environment where they think that this shit is normal.
Exactly.
And that's not.
So one of my coworkers, and it's all. I mean, I'm sure she was just joking, right? But she was like, "Man, I can't take you serious with that mask. You're gonna give me COVID." And I'm just. We laugh it off or whatever. We're like in the room with like the administration, a couple important, but not the main principal. And then this other coworker that I'm cool, and I love him, right? We're all human, and I explained my side on it, and I think years ago, my emotions on it would have lasted longer. But this time, like, I texted y'all, and then like I breathed, and then I was good. I went back and it was nothing.
Grounded yourself.
Yes. I didn't used to know how to do that. It would take a long time.
The five senses thing?
Yes. Yeah. So.
By the way, for those who don't know, if you're having a panic attack, anxiety attack, or you're you really grounding yourself means that you're gonna take the five senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, and you're gonna find 5 things in that moment that you can do that with. For example, if I'm in the bathroom and I'm having a panic attack and I'm in a stall, I'm going to say I can smell the cleaning fluid. I'm touching the toilet paper dispenser. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can taste my saliva. You know, I can see the ceiling. Like, you need to find a way to ground yourself in that moment, because in that moment, your body wants to, like, emotionally almost, like, you know, get out. You know,
Right,
like, it's
right.
hard explaining. Like, if you were a vibration, you're vibrating too fast.
Right, you gotta
Yes.
calm that vibration.
Yeah.
And that's why the breathing helps too.
Like,
The
if you
breathing.
like when you a guitar string, if you pull it too hard, you know you
Snap.
yeah yes
Right.
you're about to snap. You're about to snap. We need to when you look. We need to get it down. You know?
So, I calmed down. I was like, okay, well, okay, no. Then what kind of fueled me was like, then the other coworker was like, plus you ain't got the vaccine.
Oh, he shouldn't have said that.
He or she.
Okay, so
and
see,
so I was like,
okay, we thought when you explained the situation to us, I originally thought Chris was having a conversation with someone who he thought he could be cool with, and he happened to mention he didn't get the vaccine, and this person started tripping. But no, it's messy. This person shouldn't have even done that shit.
Right, and so when I went to my classroom, right, my pre-K classroom, and I was like, I'm gonna go to I went to my pre-K classroom.
Yeah.
And we have a restroom in there, so I did the thing. I drank some water, and then I was fine. And then I had another mask that I had got just to try it out, where it's like it's the cloth mask, but then it has clear right here, because it's also important for pre-K that when they're some of them don't know how to pronounce the words yet, and they gotta see you do it with like the A's, and so it's like there's gonna be some kids that aren't gonna learn as fast because of this thing. So, and then and I know the science that the kids aren't dying from it.
But I feel like your argument for the mask is like, you don't need it. I feel like the reason why the whole thing started is because someone got mad because they heard that you weren't. See, it's crazy. Someone got mad at you because someone else told them you weren't vaccinated.
And okay, so there's a couple so the administration, they didn't care. I worked my ass off. They know that I'm not like last year.
You're not a super spreader.
Right. Last year.
You're not a risk.
Yeah, exactly. Last year I worked there and I didn't get it.
I've been here since the first variant, yo. I was the corona front line teacher. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was back when I was essential worker. Now I'm just a super spreader. What the
Right.
fuck?
And then I always have to bring up, man, Malcolm X said that the news will have you thinking that your friends are your enemies and your enemies are your friends.
Real
and
talk.
That's what they got. They're
Real
doing
talk.
now, bro. It used to be
Real talk.
newspaper, but now it's the news.
So I want you to think about this. If you are a person who legit has a dislike for people who do not have vaccines, I want you to just ask yourself real quick. Is the only reason I don't like these people who don't have vaccines, is it because I really have something against them, or is it because I've been told to have something against them?
So I think sometimes I'm a mind fuck to them because I'm not the stereotype, right?
Yeah.
I'm not like, no, I'm just safe. And even online, I'll say something like, no, I'm a safe vaxxer because, I'm cool with the polio and shit. They had hundreds of years. I mean, we had time to whatever. But, so I went back and I was like, it was like nothing. I had that other mask. And then, I did tell my coworker, though, say, hey, it's not cool that you're telling people that I'm not vaccinated. It's none of their business. She's like, oh, nobody cares. I'm just joking.
As this other lady goes and tells the people?
No, so we were all in that room.
Yeah.
So when I leave and I'm composing myself, that's when I text her that.
Okay.
And then I said, but she's like, nobody cares. I'm just joking. Don't be so sensitive. And I was like,
Damn. See, I don't like that shit because we talked about that. Once you tell someone I feel offended, I feel hurt by something you did, yo, don't give me that don't be sensitive shit. You need to acknowledge that I've made someone feel bad. What the fuck?
So what I said was like, I put point blank, it's nobody's business, period. And then she said, okay.
Yeah.
So then it wasn't brought up. We were cool. And then after that, like, I love the appreciation I get on my job. I love working there. I think I've been there 9 years, but this year I felt more, I think because of all this time that we spent together, also the learning I've done and the learning about the manifestations and the actual powers that we have and that we can control more than we think we can, right? And just knowing that I make a difference for kids, it's very powerful. I get home exhausted, but I enjoy it. And now I get, by the end of the week, they're like, even though they're supposed to be giving air bumps, because I give fist bump, because these kids need connection, bro. Like some people don't want, but the principal gave me an actual fist bump. She's like, I appreciate you taking a leadership role and everything, So I feel like I have a positive influence in that way.
You do, fam. I mean,
And so in the end, it was a great week despite that little. So you can't let one bad moment.
Yeah.
And I used to because of our trauma, because my dad would do that. We didn't know how to control that.
Yeah.
And flip it.
I know what you're talking about. You know, yeah, you be going about your day, and you know, you tripping over a rock will fuck up the rest of your day. You know what I'm saying? But remember, in that moment, well, now every moment you are given a choice. You can be human or you can be awesome.
Right.
Pick one. You know, I can choose to be human and show emotion and sit here and do what I would normally do, complain or try to blame someone, or I could look at this as, okay, you know what? Not a big deal. All's well that ends well. Moving on. You know what I'm saying?
Could always be worse.
Yeah, can.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with your trauma about your dad? I feel like we talked about how I dealt with mine, and then we veered off to the school conversation thing.
So I think the beginning of it was when I was 15, weed helped. When I discovered weed, I felt like a freedom that I had never felt since I was like, I felt like once I smoked that first time I got really high, I felt like, I've been wound up this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been like
I think that's how a lot of people hit that shit.
You know, and I think that's because of my parents and shit, and I was like, or my dad mainly, but so that helped.
I've been seriously tripping. You know what I'm saying?
So that opened up a doorway, bro, because I had already been doing music, but that introduced me to like just. I loved it, and I was able to. That helped me socialize with different. I was kicking it with skaters, gangsters. It's just because the weed was like it's a communal thing. It's like the name of the peace pipe, and so that really helped me deal with that because then I was able to like be more introspective and think about shit. Then the mushrooms, but also being around you and positive, like-minded people, because who you're around will influence you, whether you want it to or not. If you're around some negative energy, you're gonna always be negative. And if you're just by yourself too much, and that's the thing, like it's popular to isolate yourself, but it's unhealthy.
Yeah, a lot of people do it, bro. Like think about it. Like these streamers, I get what they're doing. They're creating entertainment, but they've also made a bunch of other kids want to do this, and that's basically isolating yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If you're just doing it by yourself,
yeah,
it's like,
and especially if you're someone that wants to put out a lot of content, then you're isolating yourself for maybe 10 plus hours a day, fam.
Right.
And then when you're done, you don't want to go outside and socialize. You're probably worn out.
Right.
You probably just want to go take a load off. So basically, your life becomes my bathroom, my kitchen, wherever the computer and the webcam is at.
And see, that's people who have the confidence. A lot of people don't have confidence.
But see, was that confidence real anymore? After so long, just trying to put it out by yourself, can you really go out and still say, you know, it's like I say, fighting. When it comes to boxing or MMA, when motherfuckers are gone for like more than a year and they come back, I always say, bro, I don't, because that ring rust is real. You know, you have to be in there for wrestling the same way. I watch wrestling, the WWE and AEW. If those guys are out for a long period of time, when they come back, they're gonna look rusty. They're gonna look like that.
Even if they've been training.
Yeah, because
they haven't been competing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like chess. You know, if like me, bro, I'm off because I don't play chess, man. Like, I miss you so much, bro, because you're back in school. I don't have a person to play with like 2-3 times a week. And you know, I should go on the app, but man, I'll be lazy because I feel like what am I motivated for? I'm not gonna have a match with Chris later anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I need to not do that. Right. See, but. If I had just trained, if I was just playing by myself with the computer, when it came time to play with you guys over the board, I'd probably start making blunders. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why one of our fellow cast members sometimes over the board makes mistakes, but when they're playing on the app, they're pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the scary thing about moving everything to computers for kids. You know, because they're it's gonna go back to the virtual option for some kids now. Like they just decided that Friday.
Wow. You think this is just like statewide?
So far just district wide, I think.
So just DISD? DISD.
Yeah.
Okay. Dallas Independent School
Right.
District.
Well, they're just trying to like, it's so big, bro. They're just trying to make people happy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they pay my bills, so shout out to DSD. The dist.
Hopefully one day we go to GISD.
Maybe. They don't pay the TAs as much.
They don't?
Mm-mm. And I think the kids in the dist, they need more me.
Yeah.
You know? The ones in Garland, their parents kind of love them more.
I feel you. Damn. I feel you.
You know, because like...
Facts.
Like my kid goes to a technology center, and those kids all have like great families and shit, and I love it. But you know, so I working there would be like cheating. I feel like for me, like I'm not really needed there.
I feel you. So you still haven't talked about you did?
Oh well, yeah, the weed, the mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. What age?
Becoming a dad.
What age were you when you had your first mushrooms?
My first mushroom trip I was like 16, but that one didn't really.
They weren't all the way good.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw. Was it the first time I saw Chappelle Show? Maybe not.
Do you know how many grams you took?
Yeah, it was like probably 3.
Okay, that's pretty. That's really.
It was the summertime, and I remember like there was with these 2 white boys, and they were taking care of me. They're like, "We're not gonna do it, but you do it."
For your first dose, that's pretty. Yeah, that is a lot.
So I remember listening to music, and then like the wood pattern on the fence outside was like rainbow, and it was moving.
Huh. You know, my first experiences on psychedelics was also with Caucasian dudes. Maybe it helps, because I did have pretty good experiences.
It's like their family already knew about it. It's like in their family, so they're like, okay, we know how to take care of somebody.
For me, it was family. My little brother, not the baby one, but my little brother. I guess obviously not the baby. I have 2 brothers, right? They're both little.
Right.
One's a baby. One's
No, I just mean like white people families. That's kind of their tradition, especially in the South. I think. Mushrooms.
To do mushrooms for real?
I think it's more common in white families than at least hood white families.
Interesting. Well, you know what? The guy who used to be my best friend, his family used to stay out near Rockwall, and yeah, they were huge potheads, but they were like bank people, like they worked at banks and shit.
Oh wow.
And but they smoked weed, and I could tell probably back when they were younger, they probably did do psychedelics, and you know, though we smoked with them. You know, it's weird. That was the first time I ever smoked with someone's like, and their mom and dad. You know, and we're sitting there getting ripped. See, but then you come to realize that's a good thing and bad thing, you know.
Correct.
When
Correct.
when you, yeah.
Because you don't want to be the fucking enabler for your kid.
Yeah, I don't want my kid to just end up like, instead of dealing with emotions, now he just goes to the basement and smokes weed all the time, you know.
Right.
Or he's gonna holler, hey, let's smoke a bowl every time he's feeling down, you know, like. He's not trying to smoke a bowl because he wants to kick it or talk, or he's smoking a bowl because he's all depressed. He's gonna hit that, he's gonna rip it, and then I'm gonna be looking at him like, damn, like. I'm enabling this, you know. This kid, instead of doing with emotions, he just putting it in that bowl and just ripping it up and just like, oh, I don't have to think about it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's unhealthy.
That's not how you go.
You have to let it out.
You have to deal with it.
You have to deal with it. Yeah, because then it'll fuck with your high too.
So mushrooms helped you.
Mushrooms. When I started. Because me and my sister, because of the trauma with my parents, I felt, and my sister asked me, like, she's like, it's almost like you didn't. Because I felt like I was on my own, right? Even though she was there, but I never really offered, and I was like, I was always worried about. I didn't think about her for some reason. It was like survival, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, my dad might kill me before he kills her or something, maybe, or I don't know.
But y'all were still in this situation together.
So once we all left the house and left my dad there, I think he was able to sit in that house. Because I went to my uncle's, my sister went to college, she went to Navarro College, so she was on campus. My mom left. So my dad was by himself. And then I would have my son in my uncle's house too. And he got depressed and he realized, and that's when he changed. Seeing him change and seeing how he started helping me with my son. And then he was like nicer to everybody. And then my parents got divorced, but he was still kinder. And he was like...
Here's my thing. Because I'm asking, the answer to this question. The question is, have you ever approached your dad with all the shit that we just told each other? Have you ever approached them and asked them for, and see,
we did.
I tried, but I came to the realization that a lot of times these fools just want to pretend like, it wasn't that bad, you know.
Right.
Like they don't want to fully accept the blame yet, you know.
They usually compare it to their life.
Yes, and
it's very egotistical.
It's like, you know, when I grew up, we know what happened to me, and I'm like, yeah, we're not talking about you, little motherfucker.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But you know what? And now that I'm older, yeah, bro, I get it. Like, fine, it is. I guess it is some in a way. They were like, you just throwing stuff on my face, you know? Okay, I get it. But acknowledgement would be nice, right?
Yeah, and they also say like, you know,
because a lot of times
you decide what you do. It's like
exactly that's my dad says to me. Well, you know, you decide what you do with what would you.
Right.
And it's like
yeah, now I can't. But let's talk. Can you at least
it's like
acknowledge and apologize so we can move on?
That's
from
what
this.
I want. That's what I want.
I need to heal.
Yes. One time, bro, before you pass on, I want to hear my father acknowledge that he fucked up and how he fucked up and that he knows it wasn't nice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know I wasn't nice to you, and I know I should have been better. I want you to say this shit, bro. I want you to acknowledge some events, you know what I'm saying, and say, yeah, you know, I know I didn't pick you up those times. I know I would go and do other shit instead of going to go be with you.
I shouldn't have did that.
Exactly.
I know I was wrong.
Exactly, bro. Like you want, you know, like, yeah, bro. Like,
but then what if he doesn't feel like he was?
Then what are you gonna do? That's up to you. Have you really forgiven him? Because true forgiveness is not necessarily
no matter how they act.
True forgiveness is not needing it to. You don't need to acknowledge. If I really forgive you, I don't need you to sit here.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, I don't need to go up to you and tell you, Chris, I forgive you. You're like, what the fuck? What I do? No, bro.
Right.
Just if true forgiveness is you legit forgave someone in yourself and in your brain and in your heart. You're trying to find compassion for this person.
Right.
And that's what it is, bro. Like. Maybe that will be the final, like, it'll finally pass whenever it's acknowledged by my dad, right? But for now, I just have to, do that whole, like, well, they didn't know what they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They didn't.
They were ignorant in a lot of ways.
They were ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And it's also like, well, you have to find a way to just like be the adult yourself. Like try to understand like look at your father as your son and look at your son as doing this. Like, okay, find a way to say, well, you know what? He didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times, man,
it'd be hard.
Kids teach parents shit.
Yeah.
We teach our parents shit, and our kids will teach us shit.
Yeah.
And kids teach you shit. It's weird. That's why. And then old people will teach you shit too. I don't like how you can't just write off all old people.
No, you can't.
Because of course they all have their trauma.
Well, we need them.
If we have trauma, think about their trauma.
Them, yeah, they have that future knowledge, bro. They've been there. They've been there for all these years. That knowledge of being here on Earth helps. You know what I'm saying?
And just like you saying, like we gotta educate. Like our dads didn't know how to do the relationship, like, but they weren't educated. It's the same thing with like old people and race and stuff. Like instead of just writing them off because they think a certain way or they think about like because they grew up in a whole different thing. Like let's educate them. Or I think the whole thing, okay boomer or bye boomer, I think that's kind of dangerous because you should be able to like listen to it and even if you disagree.
It just makes the boomers even more mad at the young people.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
Like, see, all they do is talk shit. That's why we can't stand them. Is that saying an hour?
That's 106.
Damn, son.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes. To be honest with you, bro, I really like that. Do you think?
This?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about. I'm like, wait, which one? You about to say that?
No, this episode right here. But yeah, so what really helped was once me and my sister. We'll wrap it up soon. But once me and my sister got older and we were able to talk about it. Also, my sister. There was a time my sister was like a teenager, but there was this big thing where. I don't want to get too into it, but there was like this intervention thing with the family, and it was about one thing, but that really was, and it became, so we ended up just getting everything out, and that really helped.
That's how it be.
Yeah.
See, it helps get shit out.
Yeah, and then then you move on to forgiveness, and then now we're okay. Like we realize.
Because I feel you. I want to hit that point with my dad one day where I guess I can be real with you, but I know right now that's not it. I can't be real with you because I know if I'm real with you, you're gonna feel like I'm talking shit, or you're gonna feel like I'm about to start a fight with you. Yeah, like I'm about to start a fight with you. Oh shit, he's about to try and get up and say, hey, what about this? You know what I'm saying? Like
you're not trying to be like Maury and
Seinfeld
Seinfeld and not Seinfeld, Springer.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just. I would just like one day to be able to be real with you and say, yo, I mean, it wasn't cool you did that, and say, yeah, you know what, yeah, that's fucked up, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like just be real with you. But hopefully we will hit that point someday. Hopefully you too. I mean, maybe your dad, because he's actually you say your dad's actually acknowledged that he did that stuff, and he had his reflection time, and now he tries to help. Like, I guess, like I said, your dad, in a way, without having to acknowledge it, he does, because he knows he's trying to fix something, right?
Right. They realize, like, we kind of fucked them up.
Yeah. You fucked something up, so now you got to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At give it at least try, because you didn't try at all the first few years, fam.
And so shout out to my parents because they do help a whole lot, and I think our relationship wasn't done yet. Like some people. If you got like a healthy relationship and you're at the house for 18 years and you leave, that's cool. But we didn't have that, so it's still like I let my mom stay at my house and shit.
For
now.
That's my your roommate, bro. I'm my mom. What you talking about? Yeah, bro. Shout out to every parent, bro. Just trying to learn, bro. You know, just on the job training sometimes.
It is.
This shit, bro. And so as much as you want to label someone an asshole, like sometimes you know what you gotta find a way to have compassion for the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, and the strain was wedding cookies.
Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna label it, right?
That's odd title.
All right. So you want to wrap that up?
Yeah.
Episode 74.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love you, Pops.